Milestone 1, Rona Bryn logbook entry for week 1. So, our first week as a company and working as creatives, we decided that our first order of business is to make cuts for adaptation and start scripting and writing the show. The first week was unproductive in the sense of that there wasn't like scenes, though we weren't on our feet. It was more so of a standardized creative process. What are we going to do with this book? Where are we going to take it? And how are we going to make it fit the 30-minute time limit? Which is probably going to be our biggest hurdle. So I'm glad we've started doing that process. And I'm pretty sure we're in quite a comfortable process to start devising and to start bringing it up on our feet. And we've got like a base level script now. So the first order of business, what we had to do is really decide what are we going to keep from the book, because the book's core themes and core journey and plot can be condensed. It doesn't have to be like a 400-page epic. It doesn't have to be that long. We can condense it, and that's what we've done. So we've decided to cut the core 6 characters, because in the book there's these 6 characters who go on the journey to face the dragon at the end alongside Rowan. We decided to cut that down to about 3 characters who go on the journey, genuinely just due to time constraints, multitasking. Will it even work to have that many characters? How do we make them all stand out, and will the themes be able to translate if we have such little time with so many people? It just, once you think about having 6 characters on stage of a cast of 4, it's just not going to happen. It's just going to get so convoluted and so confusing. We decided to completely wear it down to 4. Not even 4 characters. So, who go on the journey, who represent the themes. So, another good idea with cutting down the cast size, it's kind of like a traditional journey. It follows a traditional story beats, which are journey story takes. So instead of having, 6 characters and 6 different biomes and 6 different things to overcome, we can now have 3, and those scenes can be really well crafted, and we can really add depth to them, and it can really be quantity of quality. So that's what we've done. So these characters, we've decided we're going to create our own, which are distinctive for our audience, and which all represent the themes of the play, which is masculinity. And if you're a boy, you can be scared. And if you are drawn to traditionally feminine activities over masculine, and if you are a boy, that's fine. So how have we condensed these characters, and who are they now? So the main core characters in the play, we're keeping Shuba the Witch. Shuba the Witch can be easily multi-rolled. It could be a quick 2-minute costume change behind the curtain or wherever we have to perform it. Quick costume change. She only has to be in it for one scene. So Shuba's staying. Rowan, the titular role, the main character, is obviously staying. The rest, Caden of Kent and Kyle of Kent, we thought it'd be really funny to have these 2 twins and possibly even an on-stage actor starting to say one line and then take off a hat, and then it's the twin. We thought that would be quite a funny idea to keep in the show. So we have Caden and Kyle of Kent. The reason they're of Kent is because we thought to make these characters stand out so they don't all blend into one person, and so they all have, distinctive identities in the play, and so the child audience will be able to tell them apart, is give them different regional accents. So we have Kyle and Caden of Kent, which are going to obviously talk in a ham southern accent. So we know these 2 are different, and they keep constantly changing between people, keep changing between twins, identical twins. Then we thought would have Larry of Lancashire. Larry of Lancashire you know, traditional Lancashire accent, northern bloke, strong. He's going to be the one who, well, he's going to be the one who really, really hands down the gender roles. Like, I'm Larry Lancashire. He's going to be really strong, really brutish, really violent, a good fighter, you know, I feel like. And we also made the correct decision because of, you know, that stereotype of proper traditional Lancashire lad. We thought he should be the one who stays the longest and gets scared the least, because if he's the proper, you know, best soldier of the village and Rowan is this shy, coy boy, we thought that juxtaposition at the end when he gets scared would be really cool to have, and I think it just makes the most narrative sense thematically and narratively. So we have him, and then we also have Aidan of Oz, which is one of our cast members. Just really wants to do an Australian accent, and again, it stands him apart from each character. So we have that. So that took a lot of creative workshopping of ideas, because at one point we started drafting up a script with 6 characters, and we just realised, like, that is just going to be so difficult to do, especially when you have to have a dragon, which could be puppeting, which could be physical theatre, which could be multi-rolling. And when you've got Sheba, and then you've got these 6 warriors, plus Rowan, plus spiders they've got a face, plus werewolves they've got a face on the journey. It was just, we had this, like, bare-bone script, and there was no space for character moments. There was no space for growth. It was just a convoluted mess. So we've got that out of the way now, and it also makes sure we can fit that 30-minute time frame great. So that was essentially our first week of devising. It was a logistical, let's write stuff down, let's write down ideas, let's make it happen. And we've got a few ideas now, you know, we've got like a base cast. We want to keep these characters, we think they're really cool. We really have a lot of ideas and character quirks with them, you know. For example, Aidan of Oz, he could be proper Australian with, like, a didgeridoo and those traditional Australian hats. I don't know what they're called, but my family in Australia have them. And he's always talking about barbecues and knows a lot about spiders and alligators, and that's a really good way for us to translate to the audience. Oh, look at this character we've got. And he's now teaching you about facts about wildlife, facts about crocodiles, facts about spiders, you know, traditionally Australian things, you know. It also becomes an educational point as well as just a theatre show. We can make it somewhat educational with facts about wildlife. And that was something one of our cast members, devisers, company members, Jake really wanted. He really wanted to do Deadly 60 or make something like that, like a safari show when you go camping and stuff like that. And the ideas were good, we just didn't realize, it was really hard to really, like, devise that and write a whole new script without any source material. That would have taken ages, and it took us a whole week to start scripting and get, like, a bare bones script, and that's without directing and devising off what's on page and making it our own and rewrites. So we thought that want to have, like, a Deadly 60 type of idea, you know, wildlife and nature and all this and that. We thought we might as well add those ideas and themes he wanted through that character of Aidan of Oz, who he'll be playing. So, yeah, that was our first week in for the cuts and the adaptation, what we have to make our own, what we have to keep. And we're still keeping the story structure the same. We're just swapping out characters to make them a little bit more easier and digestible for children. Because we have to keep into consideration that they are going to be entering for the first time, possibly. They've never seen a show like this before. They've never sat down with dark lights, with lighting, with sound. You know, they've never been able to experience that. And it's quite an overwhelming, stimulating experience for the first time to go into, especially when you're a child, when you're more sensitive to noise and darkness and light and all those type of things. So we wanted to just keep it easier, and it's easier for us, and it's going to be more enjoyable for the children who come and watch the show. So scripting, we have just finished a very bare bone script. All these ideas, our wonderful, wonderful company member and castmate Luana has drafted up a bare bone script over the weekend, ready for our next week of rehearsal, and we're going to really bring that to life. So yeah, that's what we've done, and my personal contribution was more so the logistics, more so I was one who came up with the ideas of Larry of Lancashire, Aidan of Oz, and you know what I mean, it was my idea to make these characters distinctive. It was my idea who said, right, we've got to cut a lot of this stuff. It was me who said that because I think it was more of a group decision, but it was me who was really like, no, we need to get this done now because we're going to get so confused. It's going to be hard for us to navigate it, you know, especially when we've got to make set, and you can imagine how stressful it would be. So that is our week 1 development and milestone review. That's what we've done so far. It's been more admin-y, it's been more logistics of the show, it's been more catered and centred around how do we bring this to life. But I feel like it's such a pivotal first week to do that with, such a pivotal time for conversation and ideas and for the creative flow to start taking place between the company. It was such a pivotal moment that I'm kind of glad that we haven't gone straight, right, let's take this on our feet, let's start devising improv in the scene. Because we'd just get lost, we get convoluted, and if we have like a bare bone point A to point B script for scenes and the story narrative and the story beats, then that's when the good stuff can happen. That's when we can start bringing these ideas to life. So yeah, that's where we're leaving week 1. Another thing I forgot to mention is what targets have we set for further development. And that is, let's start blocking the first few scenes. Let's block the first few scenes, and once we start getting into a creative groove and we start, you know, blocking the scenes, learning lines, changing lines, let's now start looking at how do we make the set pieces, like how do we make these mountains, and how do we make the dragon, how do we make this spider, how do we make this werewolf, you know, how do we do this? So yeah. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. We also decided which monsters, the core travelling group of Aidan, Larry, Kyle, and Kyle, because we decided we'll have one swing because that would get more convoluted later on, and Kyle should face, and we thought spiders because there's a point for education to children. It's quite a common fear, and the whole show and book is about facing your fears and not being afraid to be afraid. It's okay to be scared. So for spiders, it's a common fear, and also it's quite funny for this big macho man to be scared off by a spider. Yeah,